Darrell, we need to get right on it. Okay?
Oh yeah, of course.
We gotta get right on this. This is important. It's going to be lengthy in me based on talking, but as of what I have to share, it's not going to be long at all. So, gonna get right on it. Try to knock this all out in one sitting. Say anything?
Getting there. There we go.
Okay. Nice and good.
Good.
Good. Double Take Sports Talk with the Watch Brothers. Platform talk. Describing racism and what others are doing to really push it. So, in other words, I wish I would have moved this from the beginning. Describing racism that others won't. Today's objective is to practice good oral communication skills, talking racism. Of course, as I said on our What's on Tap video, we're going to talk about the U.S. women's soccer team, not so much as of them, but as the critics behind them. We're going to talk about the International Olympics Committee update based on the guidelines for protesting, and then some of my thoughts on what I've been seeing in Facebook posts, and it is not actually random strangers. It is actually people I'm friends with. We're going to start with this. In the backlog of this story, conservative news source Daily Wire made sure that they made the U.S. women's team look bad with other right conservatives based on the U.S. women's team protesting. Hence this, Matt Walsh, I'm so happy that they lost. I'm actively rooting against the U.S. women's soccer. I want them to be humiliated and embarrassed, just as they humiliated and embarrassed our country. The Babylon Bee. This is a like a blog or some sort of news source as well. And they was being funny when they put this out with the title of this article replacing what Daily Wire put out, saying inspiring U.S. women's soccer team to boycott scoring goals until racism is defeated. Same people. To improve Olympic chances, U.S. women's soccer team replaced by 15-year-old boy team in wigs. We want to talk about embarrassment, ladies and gentlemen.
This is an embarrassment to the country.
This is going to get worse. Laura Ingraham, disgraced and ungrateful. It's all about them. Their woke brands are joke brands. Chris Leosh, embarrassed for the U.S. And if I pronounce your name wrong, I'm sorry, but I don't care at the same time.
I agree.
Daily Caller, you absolutely hate to see it. Logan Hall, imagine the impact a patriotic top professional athlete can have right now. Huge untapped market for that. Naturally, fans start rooting against teams that hate the country they're supposed to represent. A little patriotism goes a long ways. Same for you, sir. Same for you.
Okay.
Lauren Chin, maybe less activism and more practice next time. No, actually, because the women have actually proven their case, they actually need to do more activism and less trying to bow down and kiss your ass. Next, Christopher Bedford. I mean, that's the important part, right? As far as corporate sponsors are concerned. You probably have sponsorships as well. So be it. So quit trying to make it about the U.S. women's soccer team being money when it could be the same for you. Next, and lastly but not least, not being funny, cat turd. I can't stop laughing. I hope they lose again. See all these tweets? You see all these tweets based on a loss that the U.S. women's team had because they went and protest by kneeling. Meanwhile, let's take a look at the updated guidelines, just so everybody is aware. Look at, there's been some false reports out saying that the U.S. women's teams dealt before during the national anthem. So let's take a look at it first. Before that, how about this? The Black Lives Matter statement. We love our country, and it's a true honor to represent America, and it's also our duty to demand that the liberties and freedoms were founded. I can't read the rest of that. What did that say on that second line?
But that our country was founded on extend to everyone.
Read a statement that members of the team posted on social media before the game, which ended in a 2-0 defeat against the Netherlands. Today, we wear Black Lives Matter to affirm human decency. We protest
against
racial injustice and police brutality against black people. We protest against the racial infrastructures that do not provide equal opportunity for black and brown people to fulfill their dreams, including playing on this team. The statement continued. As the United States women's national team players, we collectively work towards a society where the American ideals are upheld and black lives are no longer systemically targeted. In brief, these are the things that they are allowed to do now and protest, where at one point in time, maybe most of these were not in it. The only ones that was in it, even before they changed it, was team meetings and media and digital meetings. Oh, and the mixed zones, including when speaking to the media. But other than that, all this other stuff wasn't in there. So actually, during the interviews were too. Through social media was too. To come to think about it, I think all of this was. They just allowed it more widely on that behalf. On the field of play prior to the start of the competition, i.e. After leaving the room call or cinema areas during the introduction of the individual athletes or teams, provided that expression for the example gestures is consistent with the fundamental principles of the Olympianism and not targeted directly or indirectly against people, countries, organizations, and or their dignity. Not disruptive, by the way, example only. The following expressions are considered disruptive. Expressive during other athletes or teams' national anthem and or introduction, as this may interfere with other with other athletes or teams' concentration and on preparation for the competition. Physical interference with the introduction of other athletes or teams or the protocols itself, for example, by unfurling a flag, a banner, etc., causing or assuming the risk of causing physical harm of persons and properties, etc., and not prohibited to otherwise limited by the rules of the relevant National Olympic Committee and or competition regulations of the relevant international federations. Here are the tweets. Here are the Facebook posts I come across that I need to share. America, a country so great, even the people who hate it won't leave. Another one. If you don't love America, you should not be allowed to represent America in the Olympics. Also, you can move. There are 193 countries on Earth. If you do not like this one or are ashamed of it, move. I am tired of the disrespect that is shown to our flag and national anthem. I'm going to stop it right here for a second. For those of you that actually put this out, why don't you take your shit and move? How about it? If you don't like change, get up, pack your shit, and move. If you don't like that black people and other people want change, get up, pack your shit, and move. If you don't like anything that is going to make you uncomfortable, get up, pack your shit, and move. Why is it that this has to be disrespectful that is shown to the flag and the national anthem, all because black people wants to see change? Where is the blatant disrespect in that? If anything, it's something like this, something like this, and something like this is what the disrespect that we deal with on a day in, day out of our daily lives. There is no black national anthem. There's no white national anthem. There is the American national anthem. If that offends you, you are the problem in America. No, whoever put out this post is the problem. Black national anthem was not made by white people. If you paid attention and did your homework, you might learn something about the national black anthem. You might learn something. So because there's black in it, you don't like it. It's common now to mistake defending someone's right to say things with agreeing with those things. If you don't support free speech for people who you disagree with, then you don't support free speech. And remember, it's your right not to listen and even say things back. Do you know what this is right here, ladies and gentlemen?
Truth. Damn it.
Say that again.
Truth.
Yes.
I was being funny.
Yes. It's truth, but it's also oppression.
Oppression, straight up.
It's oppression. Now, because he says at the end, and remember, it's your right not to listen and even say things back. Why? Why? This could go either way. This could either go for somebody that is speaking up against protesting or somebody that is actually talking about protesting or just protesting in the way.
This is just still a lost individual right here. This fella right here is still a lost individual.
Yes, he is. Yes.
Period.
And then when somebody says something like this, but then turn right around and do this, America's not racist, this automatically make you it. You can say that America's not racist, but I can go around and say that America's racist, but I have to refer back to this. Then this woman. No matter how many times the Democrats say it, Donald Trump never once used language to incite violence. He was banned for social media because the support he had around the world is a threat to their establishment. Say the truth as loud and as often as they say the lie. Ladies and gentlemen, Candace Owens apparently did not do her homework. So guess who did her homework for her?
You.
Me. Let's take a look. Permanent suspension of the real Donald Trump. This is exactly what Twitter put out after close review of the recent tweets from @TheRealDonaldTrump account and the context around them, specifically how they were being received and interpreted on and off Twitter. We have permanently suspended the account due to the risk of further incitement of violence. In the context of horrific events this week, we have made it clear on Wednesday that additional violations of the Twitter rules will potentially result this very course of action. Our public interest framework exists to enable the public to hear from elected officials and world leaders directly. It is built on the principle that the people have the right to hold the power of account in the open. Now let me stop right there before I continue. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what you call studying. This is what you call doing your homework. Because most people don't take the time out to do it. So I'm doing it today. Moving on. However, we have made it clear going back years that these accounts are not above our rules entirely and cannot use Twitter to incite violence, among other things. We will continue to be transparent around our policies and their enforcement. The below is a comprehensive analysis of our policy reinforcement approach in this case. On January 8, 2021, President Donald J. Trump tweeted, and you're going to have to finish it off for me because I can't see the rest of that. The 75,000 great American patriots who voted for me, America first,
and
make America great again. I will have a giant voice. We'll have a giant voice long into the future.
Keep going.
Okay. They will not be disrespected or treated unfairly in any shape, way, or form. That it.
Yep.
Shortly thereafter, then the president tweeted, to all of those who have asked, I will not be going to inauguration on January 20th. Due to the ongoing tensions, and this is their result of the analysis, due to the ongoing tension in the United States and an uptick on the global conversations in regard to the people who violently stormed the Capitol on January 6, 2021, these two tweets must be read in the context of broader events in the country and the ways in which the president's statement can be mobilized by different audiences, including to incite violence, as well as the context of the pattern of behavior from this account recent weeks. After assessing the language of these tweets again and our glorification of violence policy, we have determined that these tweets are in violation of glorification of violence policy, and the user at Will Donald Trump should be immediately, permanently suspended from the service. We assessed, and this is exactly what their policy says about glorification of violence. We assessed the two tweets referenced above and our glorification of violence policy, which aims to prevent the glorification of violence that could inspire others to replicate violent acts, and determines that they are highly likely to encourage and inspire people to replicate the criminal acts that took place at the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021. This determination is based on a number of factors, including President Trump's statement that he would not be attending the inauguration is being received by a number of his supporters as further confirmation that the election was not legitimate, and is seen as him disavowing his previous claim made via two tweets, 1 and 2, by his Deputy Chief of Staff, Dan Scavino, and there will be an orderly transition on January 20th. The second tweet may also serve as an encouragement to those potentially considering violent acts in the inauguration to be safe, targeted, as he will not be attending. Number 3, the use of the words American patriots to describe some of his supporters has also been interpreted as supportive for those committing violent acts at the U.S. Capitol. And 2 more. The mention of his supporters have a giant voice long into the future, and that they would not be disrespected or treated unfairly in any shape or form. It's being interpreted as further indication that President Trump does not plan to facilitate an orderly transition, and instead he plans to continue to support, empower, and shield those who believe he won the election. Plans for future armed protests have already begun proliferating on and off Twitter, including a proposed secondary attack on the U.S. Capitol and state Capitol buildings on January 17, 2021. You have to finish this one off for me. As such, our determination is that the two tweets above are likely to inspire others to replicate the violent acts that took place on January 6, 2021, and that there are multiple indications that they are being received and understood as encouragement to do so. That's the blog that they put out the day after. No, I think they put it out 2 weeks later after they did their stuff. January 29th is when they put it out. This is what they came up with. This is their rules. And for Donald Trump to actually sit there and try to sue, hello. But then let's look further into it. What is the violation of this policy? Under this policy, you can affiliate with and promote to illicit activities of a terrorist organization or violent extremist groups. Example of the type of content that violates this policy includes, but is not limited to, engaging in or promoting acts on behalf of a violent organization, recruiting of a violent organization, providing or disturbing services, example, financial media propaganda, to further a violent organization's stated goals, and using the signal or symbols of violent organizations to promote them or indicate affiliation or support. And again, Candace Owens said in her own words, no matter how many times the Democrats say it, Donald Trump never once used language to incite violence. He was banned from social media because the support he had around the world is a threat to the establishment. Say the truth that's loudest off there as they say the lie. You damn right, Ms. Owens. I'm going to say the truth as loud as I can, but not that hot garbage. Let's talk about the real shit. This, the Confederate flag. Boom. Number 1. Number 2, the noose. Number 3, 3%'s Matilda group flag. Cragen flag. 4, the Proud Boys as they use hand gestures. outside the Capitol to represent white power. Continuation. The color scheme flag right there in front of your face. Confederate flag, more of them. And the garrison flags. Keep on going. More of this hot garbage, and we keep right on rolling. Oath keepers. How many times do Candace Owens never do her freaking homework, ladies and gentlemen? How often do we have to go through this? How often do we have to go through this? Another Confederate flag in the building. America First flags. Continuation. This is... Oh, but then not to mention it, one last slide. And then, here's what ticks me off. They say this, nationalist social club stickers, hashtag DC, hashtag fuck the police. But then we have those exact same ignorant people that stormed the Capitol that put out tweets like this. Police lives matter. Anybody got the guts to share?
I hope some people had some popcorn for this because I felt this was very truthful, or some brain food at that. Let me just say this. I'm just going to be real. If you're going to say blue lives matter, the police lives matter, and then you want to talk about protecting the country in so many ways, who are you going against? Who are you really protecting? Are you really an American at that point?
Exactly.
Fuck the police, but thanking the police for their work.
Right.
Police lives matter, and then you turn around, like you said, this hot garbage.
Yes.
Fuck the police and hashtag
hot of garbage there, girl. I mean, tons of it.
And something's wrong with this picture. Something is totally wrong with this picture. Like I said last week, people have a hard time accepting the fact that athletes are citizens of the United States of America.
Exactly.
They have a hard time grasping that. It's
yes.
like, oh, stay in your own lane. Stay in your own lane. Hell, they're citizens of the United States of America. How can it not be that this is a problem? Yep. How can you not see between that fine line? It don't make sense. If us black people love America, why would we trying so hard to try to bring change into the way that the justice system works?
Exactly.
To the way that Black Lives Matter work.
Right.
If we didn't care about it, we'd be supporting the white supremacists.
And getting our asses kicked every single day.
Every single time. And then we'll be out there getting discriminated, not like we already are, but we'll be enjoying it. Oh yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying. Because I respect you as a leader, as a top dog. No, it don't work like that. Y'all take one thing, that's the U.S. women's soccer team, to do what they do, and y'all blow this bullshit out of proportion. Because they're representing the U.S. of A, and they're trying to make a statement. They're trying to bring change. And now all of a sudden it's a problem. Something's wrong with this.
Yep. I agree with you. It is as always, but there are a lot of people say, there ain't nothing wrong, or there is something wrong, but I'm just going to hide behind my doors at home, or I'm just going to sweep this under the rug because we all just need to get along, because everybody's afraid. Stop it.
Stop it. And who's the one that's actually out here putting this stuff out to be afraid? Who is brainwashing you people to believe that this is fear? To be afraid of the Black Lives Matter movement, to where they're only trying to bring change? Who's the one that's actually out here trying to do these protests, but they're talking about looters? Right. If the Black Lives Matter movement wanted to do some fucking lootering, they They could be fucking robbing a grocery store. They could be doing all that. But all they try to do is bring peace and change.
Yep.
That's all they're trying to do. That's all. We're not saying that all, like you said before, we're not trying to say that all white people are bad people. Not all police officers are bad people. But if the people believe, especially of our own, of our own skin color, black and brown, can't even sit here to admit the fact that there's a problem in the judicial system and the Black Lives Matter movement and people not being treated equally, then evidently I'm making some raw money somewhere and we don't know.